Shout out Big Steve.
Shout out Michael Bisbin. UFC Mexico. I think this will be a decent card. I think it'll be a decent card. It cannot be more boring than UFC London, that's for sure. That's for sure. So something to look forward to. We're going to try and make some money on this card, right? It's the last event of the UFC. I'm almost $4,000 up in March. Not amazing. I am looking for 3-point-something units. Look, after taping LFA Brazil, my hopes dropped a little bit, but I only need one unit, $500 to be in profit for the year after a disastrous January and pretty much taking all of February off. So, yeah, it should be right. Keep the discipline going. The reads are good. Let's get into it. Let's see what we got, shall we? First fight. Austin Hubbard, MarQuel, Mederos. Interesting. A little bit of money on Hubbard. It makes sense. I mean, this is a 3-round striking fight, potentially, unless Mederos knocks him out. Let me have a look. He's quite young, old man Mederos. 28, not anymore. Yeah, I mean, the London Quinanos fight, very, very competitive, 29-28. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I got no strong leans here. I just can't bet Austin Hubbard. You know, I'm taping this guy, and he's losing a competitive decision to Vinc Pichel. And, you know, Pichel's not the best striker. Getting finished by Kurt Holloway. He makes things competitive, which is also why I don't know if I can lay the chalk on MarQuel, but it's MarQuel or pass for me. Hopefully, if the line keeps on going, I'll be tempted, but I might even live bet. We'll see. Live bet, last few events. I do not know if we're going to get anything as good because it's been so great, but we'll see. Jamall, Emmers, Gabriel, Miranda. What a shit show of a fight. Emmers, I mean, yeah, big favorite. $1.30, $1.25 now. People are piling on. I mean, it's sub or bust for Miranda, right? Emmers is actually a really, really good fighter. Say what you will about him. A lot of people playing the under here, probably because Miranda's been knocked out a bunch. And I get it, but minus 200, I don't know about that. What I will say about Emmers, he's a bad finisher, right? He should have finished this. Hussein Ashkabov, he wasn't even close to finishing Jack Jenkins. He did hurt Pat Sabatini. He did kind of hurt Nate Langwer, and then he was ran through himself. Let me have a look. Yeah, minus 200. He did beat the crap out of Vinc Cachero, and he didn't finish him. So that's the thing. But then, you know, other times he's getting round one knockouts. So knocked out Kai Machado, knocked out Jay Cuccinello. These guys are decent regional dudes. Also got knocked out by old mate Julia Rosa. Look, I just need to make a educated opinion because maybe Jamall Emmers by KO $2.20 is better, right? It's plus money. You don't have to go big on a minus 200. Old mate Miranda is sub or bust. Like, is he going to sub Emmers? I'm not too sure. Like, he's only been sub once by a heel hook. I feel like he can protect the rear naked choke. He does a really good takedown defense as well. And this Ahmed Magmedov guy in Brave, he knocked out Miranda many times and he didn't finish him. So he knocked out by Benoit Saint-Denis, Mark Chairez. Yeah. Knocked out by Wagner Rocha as well. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some value, but I might just play Emmers KO. We'll see. The minus 200, it's... If anything, it has some value, right? Parky, any bets, Steve? Well, tune in. Iceland farts. Hell yeah, I made a live stream. Parky, your show just started. Yeah, typical Parky. Typical bloody Scottish people. Well, Parky, I know you have bets because there's a lot of massive underdogs. But even if I don't have bets, I will have bets on the day. So, right? That's what you get out of the show. You get my leans that end up being bets, if you listen carefully. Rafa Garcia versus Vinc Pichel. I'll tell you what, I'll be lying if I didn't consider Vinc Pichel, right? He's going to be circling. He's going to be at a kicking range. He does have bad takedown defense, which is what Rafa Garcia can do. But, you know, he's fought some bad fighters. He's fought Natan Levy, 129-28. Watched Jesse Ronson. Makashate is no good. Watched Clay Guida. So the best thing he did is really stay competitive with Trukar Close and lost the unanimous 29-28. Right? Pichel, I didn't tape his last fight against Bonfim. I know he got the crap beat out of him. Still very durable. Even the fights that he loses, you know, Mark Madsen, they're 29-28s. And then, you know, beat Jamil, beat Hubbard. Gregor Gillespie absolutely rinsed him. Yeah. I don't think Rafa has any finishing upside. well, I won't say any. The guy's 42. He can actually hit. He's got underrated power, but because of that, because it's going to go to a decision, and Rafa has pretty bad cardio traditionally, and it's elevation, I just can't play him, can't parlay him. So I'm tempted. I'm tempted on Pichel, but I think it's going to have to be a live betting fight. Fuck it. It's risky. Lou Betcher, what's up, my friend? Lou's going to have our first episode of his special show right after this, so make sure you tune into that. I haven't said this, but Icelandic Farts is my second favorite name. Nice. There was also a guy on Weezy's chat named Jackiest Tits. That was tremendous. Austrian mathematician. Lutorial, that's it. Yeah, what do we got in terms of props? In terms of props, I mean, the over. Some people have played the over. I guarantee that's chalk now. Yeah, even more. Disgusting. I'd rather just play the under, right? And lose my money. Garcia decision. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Yeah, Vinc Pichel by decision. Have a little poke. Why not? Half a unit. Lupita Godinez versus Julia Polastri. This is an interesting fight, is it not? Lupita Godinez, who's maybe covered once in the last 10 fights at this price, minus 200, who should not even be ranked, right? So why is she ranked? She's beaten a washed Cynthia Calvillo via split, Emily Dakota, who's cut, finished Elise Reed, whatever, I was on that, and a split decision versus Tabitha Ricci that I was on at minus money, and she just gets dropped round 1, round 2, and stuffs all the takedowns, but just on the feet in the 3-rounder, she can't cover. She can't cover this price. She has some power, but she's an idiot. And if she's predominantly a boxer with not much else, right? She can't make adjustments. So at least Polastri will throw kicks. She's a Muay Thai chick. She's really good in the clinch. She throws good elbows. So, yeah, you're telling me Lupi's going to cover this price unless she gets an instant armbar from back, a takedown. Maybe she top times Polastri for, 3 rounds, which we haven't really seen. Yeah, I think these girls, don't come at me. Could be on a similar trajectory. Maybe, Lupita a little bit better because she's ran through some bums. But so is Polastri, man. I think this is a mixture of a little bit of recency bias. Polastri losing to Knudsen, who's been cut, and that could have really been a split decision. Getting a 30 split decision over Corey McKenna, which had more argument for a 30-27. And Lupi being ranked when she shouldn't really be ranked and being on a 2-5 losing streak. So this should be maybe Lupi 60%, I reckon. Who also has bad cardio. So, yeah. And I think the line is even better than $3 now. But, Julia is also a bit of an idiot. So there's that. And I'm waiting because the line keeps on going. So why rush? Maybe live bet is better. I need to tape some of these fights outside the UFC where she's actually getting wrestled. The Yasmin Yuzdavicius fight, aging super, super gracefully. I mean, Yasmin's about to get a title shot soon enough. So, and she won round 3 clear. So if her get-ups have only improved slightly more than the Yasmin fight, then she will do well. But yeah, clear dogger pass. Clear dogger pass. Alrighty, let's look at the comments, shall we? Over is nuts here. It's MMA, WMMA odds. Yeah, over in Garcia Pichel, it is. But it's 2 durable guys, so it makes sense. Parky, wonder if Mexicans will get steam like a lot of UK. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But who are the Mexicans? Rafa, Chairez, Ronaldo. I mean, they're already steamed, right? Rosas, Martinez. They're already steamed, my friend. So, I mean, how bad can it get? Unless there's some Mexicans, sipping tequilas and chucking in parlays. Who knows? What are we up to? Melquizael, Costa, Christian Rodriguez. I keep going back and forth on this fight. I feel like Christian Rodriguez should be the favorite, right? He's more proven. They're giving him a bunch of not contenders, hype prospects. He's ran through all of them. Yes, most of them are grapplers, and he can easily shut that game down. And the one time he fought a striker, Julian Erosa kind of dropped the ball there, right? Erosa loves showing up as an underdog, though. But yeah, I mean, when you look at these fights, Gregorio on the regionals is a striker. He kind of shut him down. He's kind of competitive. What's his name? Reyes Cortez is not the worst striker, but he shut him down as well on contender. But it was kind of close, mostly because Cortez kept going for takedowns. And Costa does throw a lot of kicking volume. I respect this guy. I lay the chalk against Old Mate Lingo. I put 2 units. People were like, oh, 2 units at minus 200. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. But he covered. Austin Lingo's a bum. So, and you look at his other fights, Charlene Nodebeke, bad fighter. Andre Fili, kind of competitive. And then the guillotine was so weird. Junior Mella knocked him out in LFA. Like, he's a good striker, but he's lost to grappling. So I feel like Rodriguez could grapple him if he wanted to. Versus Julian, and even versus Andre Fili. He didn't really stop a takedown. He just went for a guillotine. So I think Christian has a path here, but he, last time they were at elevation, he said he tapped the guillotine to Rosa because he panicked, because he was gassed not even 5 minutes in. So there's that. How do I trust this guy in a striking fight at altitude? Costa, how do I trust him when he gets into round 2 and 3? He just becomes a bit gassy. I don't know. Weird fight. I don't want to say dog or pass. I don't want to say favorite or pass. Let's move on. Ateba Gautier, Jose Medina, the GOAT. This fight right here, right? The line is flipped on the total. It's basically the under or pass for me. This Gautier guy, who's extremely, extremely green. You see him on Contender Series. He's stuffing takedowns from Yuri Naito, a guy with a wrestling background from Japan. And he's not even doing the right thing, but it's working. And he's just looking at the coaches. He's like, what do I do? How do I get out of this position? I've been stuck here for a while. He doesn't have any impressive wins. He's basically running through like the biggest bums on the regionals. And he's lost to one of them via decision. Like I said, very, very raw. There's a lot of room for improvement. Jose Medina on the other side, there's not a lot of room for improvement. I mean, there is, but he's not going to make it at 33 years of age. We've already seen one fight in the UFC. He's at a better gym, but I don't think that's going to help. He's very unathletic. I think this guy's going to go down as one of the worst UFC signings in modern times, because there was a lot of guys like Medina signed in the UFC back in the day, but now there's really no excuse with how MMA is. So, I'm thinking the under here, because everyone is thinking Jose Medina is like the most durable guy in the world, but based on what, right? I've seen him get hurt by Magomed Gazisulov, who doesn't hit that hard at all. And I've seen him hurt by Zachary Reese, right? So he's hurt in both fights. Not the best finishers. You can say Reese is a bit dangerous. He survived there, and no one else on the regional Bolivian scene has the power to hurt him. But he was hurt there too. I can't remember which fight. He was hurt in one of those fights as well. So all of a sudden, we're assuming that he's this super, super durable guy. I just get this gut feeling that Gautier is going to knock him out. I don't know if he has a death touch. A lot of these fights, he's kind of hitting guys and it hurts, but they're not really going down. The power is freaking him out. And even this Yuri Naito guy, every time he got scraped by a punch, he's flailing, he's falling down. And in the end, he got finished by ground and pound. And he almost made it to round 3. So, I don't know, man. It's one of those ones where, Jose probably will get hurt, but he is tough. But I don't know how tough he really is. I don't know, can Ateba actually just kill him? I could see a lot of things. So, maybe the under 2.5 is better. It's quite chalky. And I don't really give Medina much upside. He's just such a bad fighter. Maybe just doesn't go the distance, right? Or maybe Gautier KO is better than the under 2.5 rounds, but it's probably not going to happen. Yeah, there's a few things I like there. It's basically the under or pass, or maybe Gautier KO, but and just live bet Medina. I don't really like the guy to. I'm not relying on this guy to cardio kill Gautier. He's just so bad. He's a really, really bad fighter. Alrighty, we'll go for comments. Hey, Zaddy. Hello, Dogfather. Shady, why do you always do a syringe emoji? Let me know. I ate a bag of dicks with the pirate. Let's get him back, brother. Oh, fuck, the worst bet ever. Fuck that guy. Fucking French fighters, man. Gautier KO1. I don't mind that, Dogfather. I don't mind that, but I wouldn't mind maybe 1 and 2. Let's do that on the show. Fuck it. I really do that. Let's go on Neds. the prime betting of Australia, MMA betting in Australia. Let's have a look. What the hell is MMA? Sports, UFC. Na. What a fight, though. Great fight. Gautier, KO. Gautier 1 and 2 is plus 110. Not bad. How about that? I reckon he could beat the shit out of Medina until there's a ref stoppage. Right. There we go. Gautier 1 and 2. I'm sure his KO 1 and 2 is even better. What do we got? Oh, where the fuck are you? I can't be fuck looking for it now, but it's there somewhere. Yeah, that could be a spot. Andy Merriman, 3 AM here, but honored to finally catch a stream live. Where are you from, Andy? Where are you from, my friend? I've been getting a lot of Nigerians and Argentinians. Apparently, I'm famous in Chile. Some weird shit going on. Alrighty. Edgar, Chairez, CJ Vergara. Yeah, I haven't really looked into this one. I know my boy Dog, he thinks Edgar should be a big favorite. It makes sense. CJ is a bum. I played a similar line with Temirov against CJ, and he ran through him in round 1. I don't know if Edgar Chairez can run through him in round 1. He does have power, but he's kind of like a stick and move fighter, and he loves to throw calf kicks, and a lot of people just take a big amount of damage against him, end up shooting in submissions. I don't know if CJ will do that. I need to revisit and tape and see if that will happen, but other than that, nothing is really sticking out to me pre-tape. Usually I play Edgar Chairez by sub because that's his finishing path. Plus 275, not bad. I mean, really, that's what it was against Lacerda, and that was a lock. And now it's the same price against CJ, who, CJ's been submitted by Tara, but he's shown okay first layer submission defense. So I'm going to have to move on. The over, 2.5 rounds, $1.70. That's interesting. Or goes the distance, pick him. That's interesting. Basically, you're fading Edgar Chairez sub. Not bad, not bad. Alrighty. Ronaldo Rodriguez, Lazy Boy versus Kevin Borjas. This feels like a dog or pass. I've been trying to fade Lazy Boy. I didn't really fade him in the last one, but I did understand people steaming his line against Ode. Ode basically killed him with that counter punch. The way he fell down, his eyes rolled back. If that wasn't at UFC No-Chair, I think a lot of refs would stop that fight. He came back and beat him, but he still had some sweaty moments in round 3. And this is Ode Osborne, not the best fighter. So I think Kevin Borjas might be a little bit fragile, despite Joshua Van not finishing him. He's got another knockout on the regionals, so it's just the way he reacted to all of Costa's punches, to calf kicks. He might be fragile. Ronaldo Rodriguez, not the best, but he does seem to have crazy hardware. So he might be getting dropped and hurt here. He'll keep on coming forward, and maybe at some point Borjas gets bothered by that pressure. Let's see what the totals are on some of these. Yeah, for me, Lazy Boy is always a live bet because he comes into the fight, he always gets hurt. He needs to pick up a little bit, and we have the whole aspect of elevation, which I love to take advantage of elevation and live betting. The under is big plus money, plus 150. That's interesting, right? I do think Borjas has power, and I do think, as I mentioned with Chairez, I think Ronaldo Rodriguez is another guy that can get subs. $5. $5 for Rodriguez, sub. And KO, $7. Interesting, lads. That's another one that I have to look into. Alrighty. What do we got here? Andy, not Nigerian. Irish. Big fan of the Australians. The Irish people love me, man. The Irish girls, but they must like ugly folks. But those days are long gone now that I'm married. SE for all, locked in. That's the spirit. Sub 6 hound. 6 hound still loving the Kevin Borjas army. Fair enough. Borjas KO. I mean, it's possible. I don't know if he didn't get killed by that massive counter left from Ode. I don't know. It's like Mexicans in Cali. I will say there's everything in Australia. There's Serbians. There's even Mexicans. There's Chileans. I got like 3 Chilean friends. There are Irish. There are English. So you can't really say it's one thing. It's just so many. All right, this is David Martinez, Simon Oliveira. I do think there's some value on Simon. right? This Martinez is the epitome of process. Stick and move, circle on the outside, defensively savvy. I do think he has underrated power, but he doesn't really sit on his punches. But when he does sit, he's got a head kick knockout over Jimmy Rivera. He put him out cold with follow-up punches. He's knocked out other guys in rounds 4, but I mean, he really could have hurt him if he went sooner. So, and then you tape Simon Oliveira, who I donated to against Daniel Marcos. That was horrible. And he just hasn't processed this guy. Spinning elbows, flying knees, all telegraphed, really bad shots for takedowns, like telegraphed as well. So I think Martinez is a big favorite just because he's so much smarter. He has a process that he sticks to, and you don't know what Oliveira is going to do. And he's a little bit gassy as well, right? I think a lot of the reasons why Daniel Marcos finished him was because he went to the body and Oliveira gassed himself out. So 2.5 years later, no fighting, and I was coming back to altitude. I don't know. If he fought smart, which I cannot rely on because I haven't seen him fight smart in any fight, he could be very, very competitive. And if David Martinez is very negative, he could be competitive. But I can't rely on that. With my hard-earned money, 2.5 years off. He barely beat Jose Alde, who is like a regional, not a bad regional Mexican guy from Combate. But yeah, very, very competitive. He needed 2 takedowns to win. I don't think he'll hit any takedowns on David Martinez. So I get it. Martinez is a favorite for a reason. The under seems accurate at Pick'em. It's basically, will David finish him before that mark or will he not? And if anything, I wouldn't mind some David Martinez rounds 2 and 3. He's actually got a lot more knockouts than I thought. Right? Knockout, 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 knockout. The last 4 fights are knockouts before he's contender. I just remember him as a decision machine. So I wouldn't mind some Martinez 2 and 3. What's his KO? Wow, his KO is disgusting. Plus 130 on Bet365. Pretty much even with decision. Again, it feels like they're saying pick him. 50-50 chance. Rounds 2, $6. Round 3, $9 for KO. Not bad. Not bad at all. Method and round combination. Wow, it's exactly the same. They're giving his sub no chance. Makes sense. I thought Oliveira was durable until that Marcos fight. And he's never been subbed. And he went 5 rounds with Farias, no-gi world champion in Jiu-Jitsu. So he was mounted and everything. Interesting. Yeah, there's some stuff I like there. And again, hopefully a good live bet if Oliveira comes on strong. Alrighty. Where are we up to? Raul Rosas Jr., Vince Morales. Seems like a setup. So I looked at some fights for Morales, some grappling fights. Basically, his takedown defense is not the worst. Whenever someone shoots a good blast double, he gets taken down with ease. Montoya on Ryzen, who's also fighting this week, took him down maybe 3 or 4 times with the blast double. Every single time, Vince Morales gave up his back to stand up. He does a really good reversal when he grabs the back of their neck and spins into them. And, you're watching Raul Rosas Jr. versus Tercios, and that's the exact same move that Tercios does to get out of his rear naked choke in round 1 and then ends up taking Rosas back. So, but at the same time, I do think Rosas is improving, and I do think you do not want to give him your back and, try those kind of high-risk moves. So, obviously, Vince is good at it. He did the same thing against Smith as well. And I just think someone like Rosas might catch him, right? Rosas submitted Tercios, which I did not see coming. I think if he submits Vince Morales with a rear naked choke, it will be a lot more shocking. He had a really deep rear naked choke on C-Rod as well. So, the kid's good, man. The kid, what he does, grappling and, his rear naked choke hunting, it's elite. And he also has, adult physicality from a child. Well, he's not a child anymore, he's 20, but those things are going to go a long way. And the more he trains and the more he grows into his body, he's just going to become even better. So, yeah, I'll probably just do something that I did last time with Rosas. Takedown, sub, maybe the money line, 1 takedown. Let me have a look on Neds. What do we got? Where's my takedown props? Round 1 total takedowns. Wow, 1.07. That's disgusting. If he makes it to round 2 total takedowns for Rosas. Oh, actually, round 1 takedown for Rosas is $1.22. So you pair that up, and then you do Rosas. What do you got? You got $1.63. Boost it because I'm a square. $1.60. Add submission, which is plus money. Beautiful. Yeah. So basically, I'm liking submission as well. So maybe I just play Rosas and parlay all those. One takedown, submission, and money line, and you get plus money. So, and if he doesn't submit him, he doesn't submit him. I also don't mind the under 1.5. Right? He hit the under 1.5 rounds against what's his name? Tercios. I don't know if he's going to hit it in round 3 because he did preserve his energy in his last fight. It looked a bit bad versus Richie Lang. But I think he took him down. I don't know if he got his back in round 3, but I just think he's going to be a bit gassed to get a round 3 submission. So maybe just play the under 1.5, which is 220. Wow. Plus 220 for the under 1.5 rounds. And if you think that Morales can maybe sub him, plus under 2.5 rounds, they're all plus money. So that's everything I like on this fight. Dogfather says, "Oh, you just play the juicy sub." I mentioned that, but I'm trying to be greedy over here. You know what I mean? Parky, chalk chasers better. Hope Rosas gets an early sub. Come on, mate. You love attacking chalk chasers. This one, it's probably a free square. No, I'm joking. It's going to be sweaty if Rosas get into rounds 2 and 3. Just because Morales is not that bad, man. Morales is a good vet, but he struggles to win UFC fights. Chalk Jake is getting wrecked when Vinc finishes this kid in round 3. I actually do think that Rosas is very, very hard to finish. We've seen it a couple of times now. Alrighty, Kevin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. Interesting fight. I don't really have a read on this one. I don't know. I mean, the more money keeps on coming Gastelum, I'm just considering giving Pyfer making him a parlay piece. But it sounds very square the more I say that to myself. What's Pyfer sub? Plus 333. Not bad. Not bad. A lot of people on the overs. It makes sense. Both are very durable. Kevin used some wrestling to mix it up against D-Rod, but he was very, very hittable in that fight. That's the one fight I take. He was very hittable. But then again, you watch him versus old mate Chris Curtis, and he's very hittable there. And just chin just holds up. It's just an iron chin. Not even getting dropped, not even getting stunned. But I feel like Pyfer's a different animal here. So if I'm going to bet Calvin, I'm probably going to live bet him. But yeah, man, I need more tape on this one. Alrighty, Manuel Torres versus Drew Dober. This one right here, I taped this one extensively, even though it felt like a pick 'em, felt like an easy pass. I see people going both sides, playing Dober, playing Torres, and the line is jumping. So I'm like, let's see if I can hit something. And ultimately, I left saying, if Drew Dober was a little bit less washed and a little bit less hittable, this would be smash spot. But unfortunately, he's not the best striker, in my opinion. He's all hardware. I made that conclusion when I taped him versus Gene Silva, and I still regret not playing Gene Silva at pick him or slight dog up at lightweight because, you can see that Silva can fight on the back foot. He can make reads. He can switch stances, whereas Dober's just come forward and spam the 1-2 from southpaw. And, if he does that, Manuel Torres can fight on the back foot. He knocked out Camacho on the back foot. Frank Camacho landed a 1-2. He made an adjustment against Nicolas Mota after being cracked, switched stances, and landed a beautiful step-in elbow. He can throw his teep kicks. He can keep Dober at range. If Dober comes in, maybe he walks into an elbow. So the more I thought about it, it just feels like a very volatile fight. Although I will say, I used to think Torres was very, very durable, hitting big, clean shots from Duncan and Mota. And then after the Ignacio fight, I'm like, all right, this guy's been hurt so many times. And now it's like, maybe he's just been getting away with it, and Ignacio finally knocked him out. I don't think Ignacio hits that hard, but yeah, the more the round goes, old mate Manuel gets very, very sloppy. You see it against Camacho, he became very, very wild. Obviously, you see it against Ignacio where he was hurt, very wild, and he got knocked out in the end. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to do with this fight. Maybe just leave the first 2 minutes of the fight and try get in on a really good live bet on Drew Dober. But if I had to force something, I'm feeling Dober or pass. I feel like Dober runs away with this fight in rounds 2 and 3, just from the kind of cardio snippets I've seen from Manuel Torres. And the stupid shit he does when he gets hurt. Right. Drew Dober also comes in hittable when hurt. At least I've seen with him that he can take it and that he can break the other fighter. So that's where I'm at. Dober or pass, but I mean, pick him fight that just feels pick him. A lot of people underestimating Chairez, but look at his win over Chris Duncan. Right, look how well that's aged. He's just ragdolling that guy, right? And Chris Duncan is very, very physical. Say what you will a bit about him. He's on the win streak now. Drew Dober KO plus 150. That's it, actually. Just play his KO. But, I mean, 60 cents. You get into the argument, is it worth being greedy? I would say it is. I do not see how Dober is winning rounds 2 and 3 against Chairez and he doesn't knock him out. Under 1.5 rounds, hasn't really improved. Still hovering around minus 200, unfortunately. Maybe there's value. If Chairez gets out into round 2, is he going to have the cardio? Is he going to be able to handle Drew Dober's shit? Right, Drew Dober has gone over. Don't worry about the Moicano fight because he was grappled extensively. He just went over against King Green, who was very negative. He went over against Rafael Alves, who was also very negative and had great footwork. Brad Riddell just went over against Alexander Hernandez, who I think Hernandez is very durable. The jury's still out on Chairez. And elevation. Man, maybe I'm getting tempted on this chalky under 1.5. I look like such a square. All right, let's move on. Main event. And this is a surprise. I didn't think I would like Steve Erceg, but here we are. I just taped this fight with Kai France because he was a little bit muggy in my brain. I was lucky enough not to fall for the hype of forcing Steve Erceg at massive chalk. Money kept coming in on him. I always said, right, I know Steve Erceg super well. I knew him on Eternal. I played him as a massive underdog against Dvorak. I played him as a slight favorite against Costa. I just played his KO against Jamall. And then I didn't play him against Pantoja because I thought he was too green and he had certain weaknesses. And I kind of regretted that because in round 5, it looked like Erceg was going to take the fight away from him. And I also thought Pantoja might crack him, but he looked like Pantoja really was uncomfortable on the feet. And then we saw Kai France finally do, what others have tried and stiffen them. That second left hook, he threw an overhand and then the left. And that kind of stiffened his legs and then finished him off with another one. I will say, though, those 3 minutes, man, Erceg looks so good, man. His distance management is so great. The way he's controlling the distance, getting his reads, working on the jab more and more as the round's going. And it's like, oh, wow, this guy is so good. And it's a shame that he's on a 2-fight losing streak. And that reason alone, right, there's some value on him because he's a good fighter and he's very cerebral. He seems like he doesn't get emotional. Like he improves from fight to fight drastically. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Brandon Moreno is not really a chalk kind of guy. I passed on him versus Abazi. And, that was an oversight by me because he easily covered. But you look at him at chalk versus Royval, he was a favorite to Pantoja. And then in the rest of these fights, Kai France, very competitive until he knocked out Kai to the body. Figueiredo, I don't care about any of those Figueiredo fights. Is Figueiredo at flyweight, completely different person. So I don't know. It's a clear dogger pass to me. I don't see what value we're going to get on Moreno at this price. Steve Erceg is not Amir Albazi. If he can just make some adjustments, if he can crack Moreno a few times. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard the fact that it's a 5-rounder. It's hard that it's in Mexico City. And the Moreno has proven that he has elite durability, elite cardio. And Erceg basically has to fight the perfect fight. And, the Pantoja fight was probably easier for him because Pantoja slows down. He looked very uncomfortable on the feet. Moreno most likely won't, unless he comes in compromised like Royval. So, yeah, dog a pass, but yeah, it's a tough card. Everything's tempting, but not strong conviction. I will have plays though. There is, if you listen carefully, there's things that are tempting me on this card. And I'll probably lock in 2 or 3 of them by fight time. I'm not watching this shitty card without any bets, so things will be locked in. Parky, volatile fight, but Durbo will do bad things if he's alive. Correct. I reckon if this gets to 4 minutes of round 1, it's downhill. Erceg Army, Erceg up to 320, getting tempting. It sure is. I mean, do we think it's going to get any higher than that? Probably not. Like, I do not foresee Erceg maybe losing round 1. He starts slow, but he's also very patient. Anyway, let's go through it and get out of here. Mederos, Hubbard. I mean, rather play Mederos. Hopefully the line comes in. Some more. Will I bet him? Emmers, Miranda. This probably goes under minus 200. Maybe Emmers KO. Pichel, Garcia. No idea. Pichel decision for value. Polastri, dog a pass, easy. Costa Rodriguez, I can't really tell right now. I like both sides. Gautier Medina, I think Gautier knocks him out. Chairez Vergara, I don't know, maybe Chairez sub. Same as Rodriguez, Borjas. David Martinez, I don't mind rounds 2, round 3 KO. Raul Rosas, probably gets a sub. Kevin Gastelum Piper, interesting fight. I'm not ruling out, Gastelum. Torres Doba, I'm leaning Doba, but he's going to be at the mercy of a less washed fighter to begin with. And Erceg will pass. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Give me some locks. Give me some locks for one. LFA Brazil and Ryzen. All right. Other than that, peace out. Thanks for listening.